What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, my name is vianney.strick. Thank you so much for being here. As you can see by the title, today we're going to do something interesting. I actually saw a couple TikToks when people are doing half their face with their most expensive makeup and half their face with their cheapest makeup. Now, this video is not going to be necessarily about dupes. I am trying to recreate a similar look on both faces, but it's really just to show you guys the difference between a price tag and then, of course, like how it looks on the face, and hopefully I can save you guys some money. I will say, though, I will be telling you guys of products that are high-end that I do think is worth the money. This is not like a only buy drugstore makeup. This is just me showing you guys a little bit of everything and yeah, helping you guys out. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to join my squad. Let's get into it. Alrighty, guys, I'm very excited about this video. I will be showing you guys the prices of each product when I'm applying it on the face, and at the end I will tell you, I mean, I'm sure you already saw in the thumbnail, the total of the price of each side of my face. So I think we're going to start out with the brows and like the eyes and everything like that, so I'm going to zoom you guys in and let's get started. Okay, so for brows, I decided to get out a tinted brow gel as well as a brow pencil. I think the right side of my face is going to be drugstore, and then the left side is going to be the most expensive high-end luxury. So for the drugstore side, we're going to be using the Wet n Wild BROW-SESSIVE Brow Shaping Gel. And this one is actually in the shade Blonde, but it comes out like dark enough. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill my brows in. I really do like the shade Blonde because it does look more natural. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in, and then I will show you guys the comparing product. Okay, I actually went ahead and used the brunette shade of this instead to top it off because we are using a brown shade on the other side. But this is what the brow looks like. It does add like hold, it shapes your brows, and it does give you good amount of tint. So for the expensive side, I'm going to be using this guy. I mean, as you can see, this is definitely used and misused. This is the Benefit Gimme Brow, and this one's in the shade 4. This is awesome. I really like this product. I do think it's amazing, but if you don't have the budget or you simply just don't want to pay this much money for a brow gel, I do think the Wet n Wild is a good one. You can achieve a very, very similar effect with these products. And that's what that looks like. As you can see, they look pretty much the same. They both have as much tint, as much hold. They're both really good. So there is your first product. I do like to let this dry before going in with a pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and add some concealer to my eyes so we can test out some eyeshadows. Okay, guys, so I am back. I do have concealer as like eyeshadow primer, and I did set it with some powder. So looking at my collection, my most expensive palettes are the Huda Beauty palettes and the TATI Beauty palette. I decided to go ahead and choose this one because my least expensive eyeshadows have more colors that look like this, just so that I can create a similar look. Again, we're not doing dupes, but I just want to try to make the face as similar as possible to show you guys the effect. So this is the TATI Beauty palette. It is absolutely beautiful, and I love supporting other creators. The cool thing about this palette is that it does have different finishes. It has a matte, a sequin, a metallic, and a glitter. So my most affordable eyeshadows or eyeshadow palettes are definitely the E.L.F. bite-size palettes. These are each $3. For the sake of the video, I am going to be using all of these three just to try to create a similar look as the TATI Beauty palette. They have amazing formulas. Again, they're only $3, so each eyeshadow is less than $1, and they do come with matte, satin, and shimmer shades, and they have so many different like color stories. These are just my neutral shades that I'll be using today. So since this is not a tutorial and I don't want this video to be extremely long, I'm going to do an eye look with these and then an eye look with this. Again, I'm going to try to recreate it. I'm going to go really fast because we have so many products to get through, but I will show you guys what these look like on the eyes. Alright guys, so I just cleaned it up. Do my eyes not look the same? Obviously, maybe this eye looks a little bit different because the shimmer is a little bit of a different shade. Aside from the shade differences, don't they look the same? Obviously, the E.L.F. ones, like I used multiple, but still using those multiple ones is still way cheaper than buying a big palette. I do think this palette is amazing. I do think it's worth the money if you do have that price range, but E.L.F. eyeshadows, those bite size, like if you haven't tried them, you need to because they're amazing. Moving on to eyeliner, as you guys can see, I did do an eyeshadow liner, but I do love watering, no, I don't like watering my eyeline. I like lining my waterline with a black liner. For the affordable side, I'm going to be using my go-to favorite, not just because it's the cheapest in my collection, but it's just like my go-to. It's amazing. This is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Retractable Liner. This whole breakup proof line is amazing. I also love the liquid liner. I don't really own like super high-end liquid liners, which is why I kind of skipped that. But this is just amazing. It's really affordable. It's creamy. It's pigmented, and it doesn't leave the waterline. It's very black, and I only like to line my upper waterline, which is why I like this product because it doesn't bleed down. So I am going to do that. Since I do have eyeshadow, I'm not going to pull on my eye. But this is so creamy that you don't even have to. And then for the other side, I'm actually going to be using LANCOME. This is the LANCOME liner. I don't really understand it. It says Proenza. But I mean, you can't really miss it. It's literally this liner. And this is pretty good too. And this is really creamy and really nice. But the price difference is like, I mean, this drugstore one is literally it. So like there's just no point for me to pay more than a couple bucks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other eye as well. I mean, most of these products I do love. I just don't think I personally would pay the price tag. A lot of these items were sent to me for free in PR, and I do like them and I do enjoy them, but you don't need them if you don't want them. So, eyeliner, check. Moving on to mascara, the affordable mascara that I'm going to be using today is from Essence. I'm sure you've heard of this. This is the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. Honestly, Essence has some of the best drugstore mascaras, and they're some of the most affordable. I think these are actually the most affordable. The mascaras I'll be using today are not the same in the brush, but they're just like the most cheapest and, you know, expensive. This is what the brush looks like, and it gives me so much volume, and I really love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 coats on this eye. Okay, and that is 2 coats. As you can see, gave me so much volume, and it looks beautiful, and it's just very, very affordable. You really don't ever need anything high-end, but this is just like a really good mascara. So the other side, we're actually going to be using Lancome again. The mascara doesn't actually have the name on it, but down below I will add the name of this mascara. This is the Lancome mascara that has a button right here, and when you click on it, this mascara literally vibrates, and the wand is, like I said, it's completely different from the other one. This is literally like the L'Oreal telescopic mascara wand, and it's very expensive, and it's really good, but it's just very expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 coats on this eye. As you can see, since the brush is different, this Lancome mascara is giving me more of like a long separated look compared to the Lash Princess. It's definitely more like a volumized look. But they're both great. I mean, the point of the video is just to show you guys that with the price difference, like they're both still good mascaras, but the price is just very different. Alrighty guys, and lastly, to finish out the eyes, I'm going to go back to the brows real quick and use a little bit of a brow pencil. For the affordable side, today we're going to be using the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil. This one's in the shade Brunette, and I'm just going to fill in any gaps that I may have. This is a great brow pencil. It's pretty creamy and it's pigmented, but it's easy to manage. And it does have a spoolie in the back, which is nice. And so yeah, I'm just gonna fill in the gaps just to kind of perfect the brow. And today I'm going to be using Benefit Precisely My Brow, and this is going to be in the shade 4. I do love Benefit products, but they are definitely some of the more expensive products that I have for brows, and even though I do really like them, I do think that there are a lot of more like affordable options. So I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other brow just to perfect it and be done with the eyes. Alright, so honestly, if I didn't tell you, the price difference between both of my eyes, I have a feeling that you wouldn't even notice that I use completely different products. Am I right? Okay, so moving on to the face, let's talk about primer. So for the inexpensive primer, today we're going to be using some of the most inexpensive, literally. I honestly went to Ulta and I just put like primer, low to high, literally for everything. So this is the LA Girl Pro Prep HD Definition Smoothing Primer. This is like any other smoothing primer. I know you either love it or hate it. It's like a silicone primer, and you just put this over your pores. And this also, I don't know if you guys can tell with my lights, but it also helps like mattify. I don't know if it's like supposed to, but it helps mattify and smooth without like drying. I mean, I feel like you can tell the difference right there. You know, I personally don't dislike silicone primers, but the most expensive one that I have has kind of like a similar vibe. So that's why I did go with this one, but it's a good primer. I think that as long as you like pat it in, it really does smooth the face. The other side is very, very, very pricey. It is designer. It is YSL. This is the YSL Touche Claw Blur Primer. It is the same idea, except instead of being so silicone-y, this one's a little bit more gel-like. I don't know if you can see it running a little bit. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it gives me the exact same effect. And since this one has a little bit of glitter, I honestly prefer the other one more. See how there's like reflective? So, I mean, does it cover the pores? Like, yes, but like so does the LA Girl one. And it genuinely is the same. This is just more gel-like, and it smells like a perfume, which is amazing. But they both do essentially the same thing. In this case, I definitely don't think this is worth the money. Again, this was sent to me. I would never go out and like buy a YSL primer. Hey guys, I'm currently editing this video, and I took off my microphone to go grab the foundation, and then I forgot to put it back on. So I left the microphone on my desk. So right now the audio is going to change completely. And I was going to scratch the whole video and refilm it, but the more that I edit it, the more it ends up sounding normal. It's just going to be like a big switch right now. But if you just keep watching, I promise it won't sound as annoying as it sounds right now. So the most affordable foundation that I have, that I actually really love, is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. Today we're going to be using the dewy one. The high-end foundation that we're using is matte. So unfortunately, I can't give you the same finish just because I don't have the matte one in my shade. I'm actually going to mix to see if I can get my shade. But this is like, I believe like $5 or $6, and it's so nice. It's so, so nice. And if you do have more oily skin, just go in with the matte one. And if you have normal to dry, this looks amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and add this foundation. So I'm mixing golden beige and desert beige to get that like more yellow tone. We did pretty good. I mean, I'm a little bit off with the shade, but not too bad. This foundation is beautiful. It is more of a medium coverage. It is a natural finish, and it lasts all day, and it looks like real skin. So it's one of my favorite drugstore foundations, and it's one of the most affordable. So that's what that looks like. My most expensive foundation is also designer. It is the YSL All Hours Foundation. Again, this is a matte foundation, but it is the most expensive one that I have. To be honest, I don't even know how I feel about this foundation, which just goes to say that like I tried a YSL foundation and I don't even remember what it was like. So it's probably good. It was just not memorable, and like that's all you need to know. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the other side of my face and blend it out. So that is it. I know my face looks darker than my neck, but as you can see, my neck is lighter than my shoulder. Like way lighter, so I am gonna add some bronzer to my neck when we get to that bronzer part. So this is what they both look like. They're both really nice foundations, to be honest. Like, I know that they're completely different finishes, but I do prefer the way the Wet n Wild looks on my face. I think it looks more skin-like. You know, I'm not bashing the foundation, but I just don't think that you need to spend that much money on foundation. So moving on. For drugstore concealer, the most affordable and like newest one that I have is from Wet n Wild. This is the Mega Last Incognito Concealer. We're gonna go ahead and conceal, and then I'm also going to brighten with a different product. This is an overall pretty good concealer. It's very affordable, like I said. I believe it's the exact same price as the original Wet n Wild concealer, and I do have to say this one's way better. This one is in the shade Medium Honey. So I'm going to go ahead and conceal. So that is what that looks like. You could definitely build it up a little bit, which I'm going to go ahead and do that just to get more of a full coverage. I do think it's a really pretty concealer. Can't really go wrong with Wet n Wild, honestly. On the high-end side, I do think that this concealer is 100% worth your money if you do have the budget. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I do have the shade Golden Beige, and this is like my ride or die. The Wet n Wild one only has 0.18 fluid ounces. This one has 0.5, so this is like way more. So really, you know, I just think that this is definitely worth your money. I don't think you need it, but if you have been eyeing it, go get it because it's really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. This concealer is very high coverage, but it's also like hydrating. It's not like super matte or anything like that, and I really do like it. This has so much product in it, and you really don't need much, so it lasts forever. It literally has half of what a foundation bottle has. So, I mean, it really will last you forever. That's what that looks like. I just realized that the shades are completely off, but we'll make it work. All right, guys. So for setting powder, the most affordable, which is funny because it's actually the one I've been using for months now. Sorry, I have like powder in here, but it is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Powder. They do have a banana shade and a translucent. The banana shade kind of darkens my concealer, but if you have darker skin, you might really like it. The translucent is just really, really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and set my under eyes with it. Do you see how big this is? It's huge. It has so much product, and it's nice. It's not like overly drying. It's not overly mattifying. It's just like an overall good powder. It doesn't give flashback or anything like that. And so I'm going to use it to set my under eyes and a little bit like around my face. See how it completely like airbrushed my face? For the high-end powder, I'm going to be using the powder that everyone and their mother uses. This is the Laura Mercier setting powder. This is just the translucent one. I've had this for such a long time, and look how much product I have. I don't dislike it, but I do think that A, I personally don't think it's worth the money, and B, I think that it's too drying for me. So if you do have maybe more oily skin, you might like it more, but there's just so many great powders nowadays that I know it's everyone's holy grail, but it is a little bit drying and it's very expensive. My face looks so much brighter here, and that's because of that Too Faced concealer. Even though I do like the Wet n Wild one, this just shows you like how much coverage the Too Faced one is. So I do think that that's 100% worth the money. The Wet n Wild powder is great. It's just, I feel like you wouldn't notice because of the concealers that we use. Moving on, let's talk about bronzer. For the affordable side, technically it's not a bronzer, it's a contour palette, but it's an amazing contour palette slash bronzer. And I will always have this in my kit. Always, always, always. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette. This one is in Caramel Toffee. They also have one in Dulce de Leche, and it's like the cool version of this. I like to use the warmer version for bronzer. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this all over my face. This is a matte powder, and they're just really good powders, and they're so affordable. And the cool thing about this is that it actually has a lot of product, so you do get a 2-for-1 with the contouring kit, and you can use it for contour and or bronzer or eyeshadow. By the way, I am using different brushes for applications. I just use this one. I'm going to use a smaller one for the other side. I just didn't want you guys to think that I'm like using the same brushes. For the expensive side, we're going to be using Estee Lauder. This is the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess in the shade Medium Deep, and that is what it looks like. This bronzer is literally as big as the contour palette, so I will say like you do get a lot of product. I use this bronzer so many times, and you can even like not even see a dent in it. So sometimes it is worth it to buy high-end products just because they do last a lot longer than some drugstore products. So just remember that, you know, this is going to be very pricey, but I do think it's worth the money just because it does last forever. So I'm going to go ahead and bronze the other side. Something about this bronzer, it's pigmented and it does blend, but there's really no kickback. You almost feel like you're not picking up any product. So that is pretty cool. Like the formula is really nice. Has anyone ever hit pan on this bronzer? Please let me know down below. So for blush, the most affordable blush that I have is actually my favorite, and it is Janky. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush. This is in Mellow Wine. If you guys watch my channel, you know I love this blush. Unfortunately, this lid always kind of pops off. So it is broken, but it's so affordable that like I don't even care. It's so good. It's so pigmented and it blends out beautifully. My go-to blush every single day. I do like to use a cream blush and then a powder blush, but this is also beautiful on its own. That is what that looks like. And then for the other side, we're going to be using Becca. Now, I know Becca is being like discontinued as a brand, but I do think that their products are so good, especially their powders. So I am using their blush in Snapdragon. Again, I mean, they're not going to be the same shades, but this I have also used so many times. Like at one point it was my go-to blush like every single day, and really there's like not even a dent. So I do think that if you want some quality products that are worth the money, Becca powders are amazing. Their bronzer, their highlighters, and their blushes. So grab some before they go if you really want some. It lasts all day and it is beautiful. They're both great blushes, but this one's definitely gonna last you like way longer. I'm gonna add a little bit of bronzer under my eyes just to like bring this down a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly finish out the eyes. I'm just gonna use E.L.F. and TATI Beauty and then the mascaras at the bottom, and I'll be right back and we can do highlighter, lips, and finish off this face. I know this is a long video, but I hope that you guys are enjoying it. Okay, so moving on to highlighter. I have a very expensive highlighter and a cheap one that is actually my favorite. My all-time favorite highlighter is the Essence Pure Nude. This is going to be your glow from within kind of highlighter. I don't love super blinding highlighters. This is the Sunlighter. If you want a lighter shade, get the highlighter. I'm going to put that on the cheeks. Look how stunning this looks. Put it on the cheeks. I'm going to put it over the brow and the forehead. You guys see how beautiful this looks and how it's like just more subtle, but it still gives you a beautiful glow. Perfection, and it is literally so inexpensive. For the expensive highlighter, I have a Kevyn Aucoin. This is called the Neo Highlighter in Sahara Golden Rose Glow. This is going to be a different kind of shade, but this is what it looks like. I mean, it's huge, obviously, so that's like one thing to consider, but it's just the most expensive one that I have, so we're gonna go ahead and apply it to the other side. This is definitely more of a powdery formula. The Pure Nude is a baked formula. So, I mean, it's beautiful. Again, this is gonna be more of a rose gold, and like I said, even though this has way more product, you will not go through that Essence highlighter, so that, you know, that's something good. So this looks beautiful. So Essence, Kevyn Aucoin. I am going to grab some on my hand and put it on my nose. So my most affordable setting spray that I have is from Wet n Wild. This is actually 3-in-1 primer, water, prep, set, and refresh. I'm going to go ahead and spray this on my face. They do have different ones. They're all the same price and they're all really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I really like all of these, actually, so if you're looking for a great setting spray from the drugstore, this is a good one, and it's one of the most affordable ones, and they smell great. My most expensive is actually the Urban Decay All-Nighter Spray. I don't know why I can't find it anywhere, but that is the most expensive. It is a really good setting spray, but I can't find it anywhere. So today we're going to be using the Ofra Makeup Fixer. I do think you get a lot of product for the money. This is literally 8 ounces, but I don't love the nozzle, and I just know that there's better setting sprays that are not that expensive. This nozzle is like intense. I have to go so far away. They both work great, but you don't need to spend $20 on the setting spray. Is all I have to say about that. Okay, so let's finish off this face. If you're still here, thank you. Please consider subscribing if you've watched this long into my video. So for lip liners, I love lip liners, and the most affordable one that I have is actually from LA Girl. It's called the Ultimate Intense Stay Auto Liner. This one is in the shade Keep It Spicy. We do overline on this channel, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. This is really nice. It is very creamy, it is very pointy and sharpened, and it is a really good drugstore option. And I always like to kind of fill it in That way my lipstick lasts way longer. And now the lip liner that I'm actually comparing it to is actually very similar in shade, so that's awesome too. I don't own very many high-end lip liners because I think drugstore is where it's at, but I do own a lot of Gerard Cosmetics lip liners. As you can see, this is like loved. I do think Gerard Cosmetic lip liners are worth the money. They last forever, they're really pigmented, they're beautiful, and I do have a discount code with them to make it even cheaper, so I do think these are worth the money. These are honestly the only high-end lip liners that I have, just because they're so beautiful. My favorite shade is called Sugar and Spice, and I'm going to go ahead and play it on this side. This is more of a mauve tone, and then the LA Girl is more of a brown tone. So that is what that looks like. As you can see, they're both pigmented, and they both are amazing. So for the affordable side, this is one of my favorite lipstick formulas, and it is like one of the most affordable, and it is the Wet n Wild lipsticks. I do like the matte version more than the glossy, but they're both amazing. This one's in the shade Bare It All. And it's just really pigmented and long lasting, and it's one of those like really comfortable mattes, and I love it. So that's what that looks like. And then my most expensive one, it's actually from Charlotte Tilbury, and it is their lipstick in the shade Wedding Bells. I've actually been wearing this almost every single day. It is beautiful, but it is so expensive. I will say they have very similar formulas. I think that the Wedding Bells one is just a little bit smoother on the lips, but they're both beautiful. And as you can see, the combo that I just did actually ended up looking pretty much the same. So if you are looking for kind of a dupe on shades, this one looks pretty good to me. Alrighty guys, and this is the final result. I know that there's maybe a slight difference, but the fact that this side of the face costs this much money and this side of the face costs this much money is insane. So this just goes to show you that not only can you find quality products that are super inexpensive, but you can also recreate looks that are going to look similar anyway. So I just hope that you guys learned some stuff from this video. Again, there are high-end makeup that I think are worth your money, but obviously don't ever look over drugstore because they do have really good products for really amazing prices. So hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!